a ship's radio room.
What era?
1950s.
This is your era?
Yeah, 1950s, 1960s. Yeah. This is the main transmitter, which is 100 watt nominal transmitting power, and it can transmit from 500 kcs right through to 22 megacycles.
What's the reach of it in English?
Anywhere across the world, depending on time of day, etc. I've spoken to ships in the English Channel from the Great Australian Bight, both of us using these transmitters.
What is the point of all this transmitting equipment, apart from emergency singings and SOS? What is it actually used for?
For ship's business, you know, where you're bound, where you're from, any change. If you want stores, you send telegrams, all things like that. You know, the day-to-day business of the ship. And the crew could get telegrams, etc., and they can send telegrams ashore.
Can they send a telegram to Mum and Dad?
Of course, yes. Yeah. This usually sent what was called the ship's letter telegram, SLT, where you send it to the shore station, and the shore station just puts it in an envelope and posts it.
Did you ever send one to your parents?
Oh God, yes.
What? Having a nice time in Cairo, miss you?
Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
And that was one of the advantages of your job. Who paid you to work? Did the Merchant Marine pay you? Marconi pay you?
Marconi paid us. We had in them days £8 a month allowed on the ship. So most of us used to have standing orders from Marconi sending to our bank. Yeah. So that's the main transmitter that can transmit worldwide. This transmitter we've already seen before next door, but that's with its front part on, and that's the emergency transmitter that runs directly from the ship's batteries. Yeah.
Why is that important that it runs directly?
Because if there was a fire in the engine room, say, and all the generators were disabled, we could still send SOSs using that transmitter. Yeah. So that's got 500 kilocycles, which is the SOS frequency in those days, and if anything happened, you would put that on 500 and transmit, or put this one onto 500 and transmit if you want to save your batteries. Yeah.
Let me just change this.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Go on then, talk me through.
And this is a main receiver that was called Electra. What happened?
I wonder who it was named after.
The goddess of communications, I think. I'm not sure. But the Electra, you've got bandpass tuning. You know, so it was an excellent receiver. And you needed another receiver to go with it to cover all the wave bands. This one is called the Atalanta, which in my opinion was the best receiver on the market. It covers the whole of the marine bands.
Does it still work?
Yeah, it still works.
This still works?
Oh yeah, but we haven't got aerials, you see, so...
Right.
Yeah.
So if you had aerials, you today could transmit a message to another ship on the other side of the world in Australia.
Yeah, but they're not there. There's nobody there now. They've all gone.
Why? Where?
There's no merchant navy.
They don't use Morse code.
And they don't use Morse code anymore.
What do they use? Just like a telephone?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the knowledge of Morse code is starting to
Disappear. Yes. Yeah. That
Talk
one.
me through it. Yeah. What's that one?
That one is a DF, direction finding. If somebody transmitted, we could get the direction of it by just,
Show me.
you just tune for the lowest signal. And
The
the lowest signal,
From where?
well, you hear a signal, so you turn round until you get the lowest signal. But the 180 degrees from there is another lowest signal. So you've got to do a sense check. And you press that, and the one with the lowest signal is the correct one. If you notice here, look, when you press that sense, it alters the nomenclature of the thing around.
What is a direction finder?
It finds the direction of a signal,
Where it's coming from.
where it's coming from. So,
Why do you want to know where a signal's coming from?
right, two things. If you had a ship in distress, you'd like to DF it, make sure which way you've got to go to get it, or if the captain wanted the position of his ship, we used to have a complete set of tables, and you could say, Greenes, Captain Greenes, Land's End, so and so. So you have 3 or 4 directions, and you could find them on there. The mates lay them off and know where your position is, and you can go all through the channel, right up. And I've done that 3 or 4 or 5 times.
Tell me about when you did it. What were you looking for? What was the problem?
No, we was in fog on a ship called the Baudelaire, and we got the fog about Land's End, well, just prior to Land's End, and we took DF bearings from both the UK and France, and there was three signals, 3 bearings were laid off by the navigators, and every hour we took the bearings so that we knew where the ship was, and in fog,
You would have had radar, though, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, you have radar as well, but you see, you've got to have, when you're a ship, you've got to have 2 or 3 systems, if you can, to get your position. And when the radar shows something, and then you get DF that shows you that exactly the same, it's right.
So this would tell you where the path that you were taking, the correct path through the busiest waterway, stretch of water in the world.
Yeah.
So that would tell you where the path you were taking.
Yeah.
The radar would tell you oncoming ships, the position of ships.
Yeah.
Using those 2 devices, you could steer through thick fog safely. Was fog the most scariest danger out there?
Yeah.
Not icebergs.
No, because if you've got a good radar, the radar will pick up icebergs. Yeah.
But fog is the foe of seamen.
Oh yeah, because you can't see anything.
Fog accidents still happen today in fog.
Oh God,
even with modern technology.
Oh
Why?
yeah. Well, the mainly because people go too fast in fog. Yeah.
Modern ships have to have a turning miles.
Yeah.
So the smaller ships could stop
Yeah.
a lot quicker.
Yes.
Did you ever come across any accidents like that, fog accidents, where you had to rescue anyone? Or
No, actually, no, I never did. That's a communication receiver, and a receiver where you can put news and stuff to the to loudspeakers in the cruise mess and
why would
things.
you do that?
Well, so that they can hear, you know, what the news is and
Do you
hear.
mean the BBC?
Yeah.
So you could pick up the World Service. That must
Oh,
have been a
God,
popular
yes,
Did you
yeah.
listen to the shipping forecasts
Oh God, yes, yeah.
and sailing by?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But there was news and weather forecasts on Marine Band, you know, with Morse. Yeah.
Would you play that to the crew?
No. I used to type it out. That's a marine emergency transmitter. Yeah. It superseded that one there. And it was more compact and slightly more powerful and solid states.
And you would have used this?
Yeah, you would have used that. You can use it at the key there as well. Yeah. So that one is smaller than the other, and it's you know, with it being so compact, you can.
Don't worry about anybody talking.
No.
You're facing this way, so you
Okay.
carry on. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the emergency transmitter. This one is the automatic alarm. Yeah. When this is on, it listens on 500 kilocycles or 500 kilohertz nowadays, and if anybody was in distress, they could send 4-second dashes separated by 1 second, and usually the ship's radio room clock has got this around the circumference so that you can just watch the clock and transmit. So that's if they received a signal, an SOS signal, the whole lights would come on, bells would ring here in the bridge and in the RO's cabin. Bells would ring. The RO would come up and he would switch on the DF and the main receiver and take a direction finding. Yeah. This is the emergency receiver. So this receiver operates with that. Yeah. And again, this is for multi-purpose receiver as well. Okay, this is the emergency automatic key. So, say you was in distress, you just press this, you see this here? That's the auto alarm signal. Yeah? You can decide which transmitter you switch to via this switch, and you can decide whether to send the auto alarm signal or SOS. So that can be used if you're leaving the ship and it's going down or anything. That can be left on and it'll still keep sending that signal. This is the automatic battery charge. Yeah, so you charge your batteries through this. So you've two banks of 24 volt batteries, and you can select which one's on charge and which one's off charge, or you can parallel them up, so you've got one very large 24 volt battery. So that controls all the different outputs you see through these for receivers and transmitters. This one is the VHF. That's for short range communication. It's got originally had 28 channels, and then it was doubled to 60 channels. Yeah.
Why was this brought in?
This is to talk between ships, navigators talking between ships, tugs, harbours, pilots.
So this was the first time voice was used?
Yeah, virtually, yeah. You still can use voice on that other transmitter. Yeah, that is RT on 2182. But this one is very, it's just to the horizon, well, a little bit over from the horizon. And you can, channel 16 is the calling system on there, and this was the second of the VHF transceivers that Marconi brought out. This is an automatic DF which is driven internally and selects the automatic positioning. Yeah, if you have it on 500 kilocycles, and it'll just go to the direction direction of the ship, and if you left it on 500, it just spins around as all the different people come up. Yeah, so this is just like the other one, except it's automatic.
It's a huge leap in advance, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. This is echo sounder. You have a transceiver, and the transceiver sends a signal down to the bottom of the ship that sends a click outwards to the bottom of the sea, and when it bounces back, it's marked on
this is what bats and whales do?
Yeah, yeah.
And what does it tell you?
Tells you the depth under your keel.
Is this the first depth ranger that you've used?
Oh, no, this is quite a... there were about 15 or 16 beforehand. The first one was used in 1930 by the fishing industry.
To track down fish?
To find fish, yeah. And fish would show up on it. Yeah.
Shoals?
Shoals, yeah. Yeah. And there's a different fishing adaptation where they can see bottom fishes, you know. And rumour has it that in 1930 Marconi was saved by the mere fact that they brought out one of the first echo sounders that the fishing industry could use, bottom fishing and intermediate fishing. And because of the sales of the echo sounders and associated transmitters, you know, for the ships to have transmitters, that it saved them from bankruptcy, or so people say.
So were these used to track submarines?
Oh, well, no, that was ASDIC, which is you have a directional system at the base of the ship. This is just for fishing and echo sounding and for finding out how much you've got under the ship. This one here is the radar. You need a radar to see other ships, to see the land,
to see in the dark, to see through the fog.
Yeah, yeah. And this is called the Mark IV.
When did radar come out, and when did you start to have it?
Right, radar came out during, well, the French brought out a radar, but it wasn't a real success. That was on the Normandy. Marconi experimented with his Electra in moving and entering a harbour by using directional signals. But in the Second World War, they found that there needed to be very high frequency. I mean, we're talking about in something in the range of centimetres. But all that could do on centimetres was very low power. They couldn't get high power on centimetric ranges until Randall and Boot at Birmingham developed the resonant cavity magnetron, and with that they had the power in kilowatts there was, and they produced all the different things that came together with the magnetron to produce a radar. Marconi's was involved with the radar, not all of it, but on some of it. And in 1945, the Admiralty had a lot of 286 radars ready to fit onto escort vessels, and they said, right, well, we can loan the sets out until you get a proper commercial set. So they loaned out Admiralty sets, 286s. Marconi's developed the Radiolocator 1. That was 1947 or 48, and they went for 2 and 3, and the third one I sailed with, and I wasn't very happy with it. However, it was too complex. There were so many valves, and it was too complex to operate with, you know.
Even for a trained RO?
Well, I hadn't done my radar ticket then, and I didn't know that much about radar, but I kept it going for a long time, and then it went dead on me, and we had technicians coming down, but they couldn't get it going. So, but the Mark IV was the best radar that Marconi ever produced. It was so successful that it broke them in radar, because they never got other marks. I mean, the Mark IV was perfect, came out in 1952, absolutely perfect, but it was selling like hotcakes. So Marconi being Marconi, they kept producing it until it was totally out of date.